What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. It's time for another main card predictions video. This time we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Saint Preux versus Okami. There's already been a change in the main event, which at first it was supposed to be Shogun versus Saint Preux. And in the case of another matchup change after I make this video, obviously we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm not going to make a whole nother video just because one thing changed. But it's all good. This card doesn't really have any super big names on it, no superstars or anything, at least not in the United States, but it seems like it's going to be pretty interesting and fun to watch, so let's get into these predictions. For the first matchup of the evening, we have Mizuto Pugnus Hirota versus Charles Boston Strong Rosa. I don't really know what Pugnus means, but this dude has a pug tattooed on his arm, so that might have something to do with it. Both of these guys pretty much got destroyed in their last fights, except Charles got TKO'd, and Mizuto, he actually hung in there, which really surprised me. If I was playing it safe, I would just say Charles by decision, but I'm going to try to get into it a little bit more than that. So I think that, honestly, Mizuto Hirota is going to win by decision. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think he's ever been knocked out or TKO'd. He has a good chin. He gets hurt in his fights, but he does have a good chin. He never gets finished. So I definitely don't think Charles is going to be able to finish him. Charles is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's fought some guys on the local scene around here, and he looked amazing back then, but I just don't really think he's gotten that much better. Mizuto starts pretty slow, but he can take the damage. He's really good in grappling situations too. But he did take a lot of damage in his last fight, but so did Charles. I'm not going to play it safe, and I'm not going to go with a popular belief. I'm going to go with my gut feeling here. So I'm going to say Mizuto Hirota wins by decision. Next up, we've got Team Alpha Males Teruto Ishihara versus Rolando Dai. Guys, this is a classic example of the UFC feeding a man to another man to try to build his name. Teruto was... I'm not going to say they were trying to make him the next big superstar, but he was definitely getting built up. He had a whole bunch of knockouts on his record, but he has lost to Artem Lobov and an old washed-up Gray Maynard in his last two fights. So they're trying to feed him this Rolando Dai, who just got knocked out by Alex Caceres, to try to build his name back up. So in terms of predictions, to me, this is pretty self-explanatory. I think that Teruto is probably going to knock him out, unfortunately. I'm not saying I really want that to happen, but I think Teruto is probably going to win by knockout in the second round. Next up, we have a matchup that's really tough for me to pick. Don't let that 0-1 record fool you. Gokhan Saki, that man is a kickboxing superstar. I'm pretty sure he, at least at one time, was the Glory heavyweight kickboxing champion. He's been the kickboxer of the year before. He just has all kind of accolades in the kickboxing world. So most people are saying that he's going to win by knockout. He probably does have hands, but Henrique da Silva, that guy was known as a knockout artist. He knocked out most of his opponents before he got into the UFC. I think he might have knocked out his first opponent, but he's kind of gone on a little skid. He's lost his past 3 fights, and he just got knocked out. I don't even know. I'm going to say Gokhan Saki by knockout in the second round, knockout or TKO. I just think he's going to have such a more elevated striking game than Henrique da Silva, especially since da Silva is on this 3-fight losing streak. So yeah, I'm saying Gokhan Saki by second round knockout. Next up, we have another tough one to predict in my opinion. We got crosstown rivals, Japan versus South Korea in this one. Takanori Gomi, the Fireball Kid himself, versus Dong Hyun Kim, not to be confused with the stun gun Dong Hyun Kim. It's kind of sad to see a guy like Takanori get to this point in his career. He's lost his past 4 fights, all in the first round, 3 by TKO, 1 by submission. And I don't know, he used to be the Pride champion. I just don't like to see people who have fallen this far. I'm pulling for him to win, but I just don't think he is. This Dong Hyun Kim guy, he's not the best either, but I think he's going to be able to pull it together more. I think he could possibly get a finish. If I was going to predict a finish, I'd probably say an early knockout, first or second round. But I think a decision is more accurate. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. On the betting app that I use, I'll probably pick the finish, but on here, I'm going to say that Dong Hyun Kim wins by decision. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got this Brazilian matchup on a Japanese card, but whatever. This is kind of tough to call as well. Both of these girls had really successful title fights against Joanna. But if I had to choose, which I do, I'm going to say Claudia. I don't know if it's going to be by a finish because Jessica is like literally a brick house. It's like fighting a vending machine. But I think that Claudia is more experienced. She has better submission game. But I think Jessica will be able to withstand her onslaught. So I'm going to say Claudia wins by decision. I don't necessarily know if it'll be a close decision, like a split decision, but I think it'll be a decision. I don't think she's going to be able to finish Jessica, especially if Joanna couldn't do it. It'll be a great fight, though. I'm sure of that. And finally, for the main event, we have Ovince Saint Preux versus Yushin Okami. It kind of sucks because I think this could have been a lot better of a fight if Okami would have had a full training camp, but obviously he's coming in on short notice to replace Shogun. But I think this fight still has potential as a main event. I think Ovince is probably going to win by decision. These guys, first of all, these guys are on different levels for sure. Ovince is a much better all-around fighter, but Ovince has also only won one of his last 4 fights, and Yushin is on a, I think, 4-fight win streak. But Yushin is also moving up a weight class. I just don't think Ovince is going to be able to finish him. Unless he does an illegal up kick, I don't even see him losing. Yeah, fun little MMA trivia right here. Yushin Okami is the guy that Anderson Silva got disqualified for illegally up kicking. But yeah, I think Ovince Saint Preux is going to win by decision. That's my prediction. Guys, if you watched this far, thank you. I really appreciate it. I have a new highlights video that I just posted yesterday. It's a montage of the best brawls and scraps in bantamweight history. So yeah, check that out. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll keep these prediction videos coming.